This is where the fun begins.
Dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the SithCast podcast, a Star Wars podcast where we pretty much talk anything and everything Star Wars. One of your hosts, PJ the Paradox Nerd, alongside my co-host, Sean Solo, aka Echo Base Collectibles, and we got the Sith Queen herself, Nilda, in the house. And we have a super duper special guest tonight. We got the droid master himself, Chris Bartlett. Chris, what an honor and pleasure to have you on the show tonight, man. It is.
Thank you so much, Droid Master. Wow, that is really humbling. Thank you so much for having me. It's great to see you guys.
Yeah,
man. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, thank you for hopping on the show, man. And to be honest, I've been looking forward to this show ever since, or this episode of the show, since Nilda told us the great news last week, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is gonna be an epic show." That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh, great!
And on top of that, I just want to say that like you are pretty much like living the Star Wars dream right now. From what I heard and read it on an article, you were originally from the 501st. And now they casted you to be part of the Star Wars universe from from your role in the 501st. So that's
the 501st. I got to building costumes as an adult. As a kid, I was building costumes with my parents, and then you get older and you go to college and you have a family and then a career, and then I started building costumes when I was 30. We'll say 2001 is when I started building costumes. And,
I'm in the same boat, Chris. I'm in the same boat.
Yeah,
we're all in the same boat, except for Nilda.
Yeah, so 2001 started building costumes, and I just you start with a stormtrooper kit. It's a kit. You have to tailor it to yourself, but it is, you're assembling it. You're not really fabricating it. But that really got, I really got the bug for building costumes. So I built, a Boba Fett and Jawas for my kids, and the Tusken Raider and C-3PO. And anyway, the thing is, when I would go to conventions and things like that, or events, I really wanted the costume or the character that I was playing to be, possibly mistaken for the real thing. That was just the goal. So that of people who were seeing this, whether I'm talking to them or how I'm moving or interacting, I wanted them to feel like this was, straight from the set. Not that I was, because I wasn't, but I wanted them to feel like that. And so that was the beginning of my acting career. And then, that led to, that's a really condensed version. We can get into details, I suppose, but that led to my acting career. Yeah.
Did you have to pinch yourself and be like, I can't believe I'm doing this?
I'll tell you, the day I was, first on set playing the ferryman was my first day of filming on The Mandalorian. And yes, as I stepped onto the set, it felt like everything slowed down,
Wow.
and
that's awesome.
And that was the first, being in a Star Wars narrative. Because before it was, commercials or special appearances or red carpets and things like that, in an official capacity for Lucasfilm. But it was never in a. There were like sometimes commercials can be narrative, but not an official Star Wars story narrative. That was really the first time. Yeah, there he is.
Wow.
So, stepping up onto that frozen pier on the frozen lake there, being surrounded by the volume and that was a practical speeder. That thing was massive, and
Wow.
Brian Hussein was driving it, and he's a massive Star Wars fan too. So we were all geeking out. But that was the first of a few moments where your body and your spirit and everything just
Oh
almost
my
slows
God.
down to this is really happening.
Because everyone says with that volume, it's like you're there, you're immersed in the environment. And I could see
Yeah.
that happening with something just wrapped around you. And like you said, a life-size speeder there. It's like, holy
Yeah.
crap, I'm here.
Yeah, building practical sets and having practical props, and then all of those lead right up to the edge of the volume, and then the volume in the they're all digital screens, continues on that visual into the distance, and you're looking out at a little town off in the distance of a frozen lake in the horizon. It just,
Wow.
I mean, there's so many moments like that. I'll tell about some of those, but in Mandalorian and Obi-Wan Kenobi, and in Ahsoka too.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So many questions are like
I know, we're like,
through me, but I'm gonna hold it for later. I just wanted to say though, Chris, all I gotta say is that you and I share the same birthday, and it's
September 3rd.
Yes, sir.
oh,
Wow.
nice.
Our birthdays are always on Labor Day weekend.
Can I tell you? This is
Yes.
the problem I've always had as a kid. And guess what? When it came to birthday parties, no one came because everyone was away.
They were on vacation.
They were
Oh.
on vacation. And on top of that, I'm sorry, going on a tangent here, but really quick.
Please, PJ, go ahead.
Yeah, you and I share the same problem, Chris.
Preach it.
Every single time, it was like when people did come, it was almost like, oh, cool, I'm having a birthday. Oh man, that sucks. School's tomorrow.
Oh, that's right.
Everyone's like, oh, wah, wah, wah. So
I think my parents must have scheduled my birthdays as a kid with birthday parties, because I had lots of fun at birthdays. They were always really special, and lots of friends came and stuff.
Yeah.
But
PJ, no one liked you. So
that's not what I'm saying. I was not saying that. I was saying my parents must have scheduled them on different days.
You know what it is? I think my parents, because we grew up poor, so it was like, I think they probably used that excuse. Well, maybe they were away on vacation and we couldn't afford a birthday. No, okay, but no, it was cool though. Like September 3rd, obviously I'm biased. I love my birthday, obviously, and Virgos are the best. Sean's a Virgo.
Yeah. Yesterday was my birthday.
Yesterday.
Oh, happy birthday, Sean, and PJ. Happy birthday in advance.
I joined the
Chris.
happy
birthday in advance too.
And then I was gonna say it's my boyfriend's birthday on Tuesday, so he's on the September.
Oh man!
You guys are
happy
on the
birthday,
September...
boyfriend.
Yeah. And it's funny. We were talking about that yesterday, PJ. He was telling me that he hates his birthday because it always fell on Labor Day weekend, and I was like, "Well, I'm like, this birthday will be different." I was like, "We'll have a nice birthday."
Yeah. No, but it's Virgos are cool, like I said, and Virgos.
I had no complaints. My dad's birthday is in December. I would hate to have that,
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah.
Well, what is it? I'm a Thanksgiving baby, so my birthday is always on. Every couple of years, it's on Thanksgiving weekend.
Yeah.
Now my oldest daughter's is the same. When's your birthday, Nilda? Is it
the 27th?
Okay, hers is the 24th. So it just every few years on Thanksgiving, she's got her birthday and Turkey Day.
Yeah.
That's too funny.
But yeah, so happy birthday to the Virgos in the panel.
Yes.
Today. But Chris, usually we start off like asking our guests that come on our show, like, what are your top 3 Star Wars movies of all time?
Top 3 Star Wars movies of all time. A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Rogue One.
Nice. See, I'm telling you, Rogue One. Rogue One.
Seriously,
bomb.
Yeah.
So
it's crazy because it's crazy when Rogue One first came out, like it started off like not in the bottom, right in the middle for everyone, right? Then like throughout the years, it aged like fine wine and it started like creeping up where it broke through a top 5 and then broke through top 4, and then now it's like top 3.
Yeah.
Which one? Rogue One?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Rogue One, yeah.
But
Yeah.
Rogue One was one of those movies where it was the first Star Wars movie in a long time where I walked out of the theater and was like, wow, like that
Yeah.
was amazing. Like,
Yeah.
you had that feel like a little kid. You're just like, what did I just see? You
Yeah.
know?
Well,
It
one
was
of the
so
things
good.
I loved about Rogue One is all the heroes. I mean, most of the heroes who the filmmakers did such a great job of building their story so that you had such a connection to them, so that by the end, something really unexpected happened, and that is something that never happens in Star Wars, that the heroes, don't make it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you always expect, oh, well, it's Star Wars, of course they're not gonna die. Yeah, there's danger, but they're not gonna die. And at the end of Rogue One, you start losing one at a time, and it's just like, wait, what? And it just made it so impactful. I felt like, not that they're dying, but that the effects of what was happening around them were real danger, and they really did, come to pass as being dangerous. But the other thing was, it just felt like classic Star Wars.
Yes.
And I really love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
me.
And yeah, same. I totally agree with you, Chris. And on top of that, like the way they tied in the movie, like that movie with New Hope, it just flowed really
You get the
well.
Vader scene you always wanted.
Right.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
You always heard that this guy is the most evil guy in the galaxy, and then finally you get that what happened right before he enters in the Tantive 4
Yes.
blast through the doors. What happened right before that was so vicious and dramatic that it was really great to see that.
It's amazing.
We were all cheering.
Yeah.
And it was the vicious side of Darth Vader that we all wanted to see. And I remember being
you all knew it was there.
Yeah. I remember seeing that in theaters when it first came out, like the first release, and everybody in theaters were clapping for Vader. And I'm just like, this is funny. We're all clapping for,
Hell yeah,
force choking somebody in the air.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and when we did Kenobi, and you got to see Vader vicious in that too. I mean, twist, breaking people's necks and dragging people, and I don't know, villains are fun.
Yeah.
I remember when we were doing breakdown episodes of Kenobi, and I remember we were talking about the scene where Vader, snapped somebody's neck, and the first reaction was like, Disney really allowed that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right. Well, and you wonder why because I love playing bad guys. I mean, they're so interesting. They're unpredictable. They're mysterious. When I was playing Q90, I was wondered, I love that he was like, I'm smarter than everyone. My response time is quicker than organics, and I'm smarter too. He was a mercenary who, there he is. Look how handsome. He's a mercenary, and then at one point he just leaves the crew. Communication cut out. Well, you're on your own. That was, Plus, he had such cool accessories. He had a carbine rifle, just like Boba Fett. He had great, bandolier and ammo pouches. A great outfit.
The Black Series outfit, the Black Series figure for it was freaking fantastic. I actually have one.
Yeah, he reminds me of Zuckus.
This one.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
he is. He has a great pose too, doesn't he?
Yes.
Look at him.
That's pretty badass.
I recommend people take him out of the box because he is so cool to pose. There's a video on YouTube posing Zero, and there's so much detail here that is like exactly. I mean, my legs were CG, so I didn't look this cool, but they do scan you in costume so that this is the actual proportions of what I look like in the suit, because they take it from the 3D scan. So anyway, it's really, look at him, man, he's so cool. I will tell you also, speaking of Black Series, Nilda, being in Star Wars is the dream. Right, that is and you never expect that you would also get an action figure, because I grew up with Star Wars action figures, and so that just feels like icing on top of icing, on top of icing. I mean, like, look at this guy.
I know you got your own Funko Pop.
Right.
Yes.
He's so cute. Right. And so much detail too. Anyway, and then there's also the One Jack Black series from Kenobi.
Mm-hmm.
The droid that looks like suspiciously like Forlong.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
But to have two is my mind can't comprehend this. My 8-year-old mind can't comprehend this.
Did you ever catch yourself walking around a retail store and it was there and you were just like, oh, that's me? It's like,
yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, and like nobody knows. You know, I was walking. There he is.
Awesome.
When I was at Disneyland, you know, there's a World of Disney, I think is what it's called, the store in just outside the park, and they had the 3 3/4 scale droid in a pack with other droids.
Oh,
and and on the back of the package, there's an actual picture of me on set, but it's like this big, so I had to take a picture of it and zoom in to look at it, which was really cool. But I wish I had that photo. That was really neat. But yeah, having an action figure is just what I mean. That's beyond anything you could be excited about. It's just really cool.
Yeah, I don't know how old your kids are, but are they like just geeked out on it, or are they just like, oh, that's just dad?
You know, my daughters are both married in their 20s, and my boys are both teenagers. And all of them are just like, that's just dad.
Yeah,
it's not. You know, but their friends are like, friends are like, wait, your dad tried to kill Baby Yoda. Like, yes, I also taught Baby Yoda. I also saved Baby Yoda's life. You know,
that's so cool, man.
Yes,
I love it.
Chris, oh my gosh, I'm thinking like you look super duper young. Oh my gosh.
Oh, thanks.
I'm not just saying that. Like, you're like, oh yeah, I have a 20-year-old daughters, and I'm like,
yeah, thanks. I mean,
well, I've got a 27-year-old daughter too, but I've got all this gray because I got a 16-year-old right behind me.
I have gray too. If I grew my beard, I have gray. But yeah, thanks very much, PJ, for that. You know, I think our, you know, when you have when you're young at heart, you don't let go of your childlike passions. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I think that is something that's really you know, can keep you young.
Yeah, and it always comes back, like you said. You know, you go off to school, you get a family or whatever, but you know, you have your roots, and then you just relive those every day with all these collectibles, and like, well, you get to relive it on set, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. It's unbelievable.
That's awesome. I was gonna say, you know, we obviously know you play a lot of awesome droids on screen. Q90 being my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
We need to see him back. That's all I'm saying. Obviously, we haven't heard a whisper of him since the Mandalorian episode, where it was one of my favorite ones too, because it was just
his parts. I'm so glad. Thank you. I'm so glad that you enjoy him. You know, droids can always be deactivated and reactivated.
Mm-hmm.
He did get vaporized when the Razor Crest, you know, was obliterated. But
you think so?
Yeah. I mean, his parts were on there. You remember where the frog lady used his parts, right? I
didn't think that he would. I figured maybe they sold his.
Too bad he wasn't made of Beskar, and he might have survived.
But wait, if you like Zero, who is an RA7 droid like the Death Star, he's a new model Death Star droid. That's from Dave Filoni. If you go back to season 1, in the 3rd episode, I think, called The Sin, there is another droid that looks remarkably like Q90, who is one of the bounty hunters that's closing in on Mando when all the Mandalorians come in and rescue him.
Mm-hmm.
Dave Filoni, I love Dave. Dave Filoni said that was a different RA7 droid. Wow. So I suppose it's possible that we could see another RA7 droid that looks like Zero, that even may not be Zero, and is a bounty hunter. So I'm like, hey, playing a bounty hunter and a droid with, you know, Yeah, it's possible.
I didn't put 2 and 2 together with the Razor Crest blowing up and Q9 being on it.
Oh, believe me, I put it together.
Oh, it's just like
what? No,
yeah.
That was my ship, and my parts were on it. But anyway, I'm just saying, there is another.
Well, we also know that you played the Forlom lookalike. What's his name?
One Jack. I like to call him Father of Forlom because in the timeline he shows up before. And who knows? I'm not saying this is true, but if he came before Forlom, and they're both bounty hunters, mercenaries, is it possible that he could have, changed his name,
right?
His identity,
because we all thought it was Forlom in the trailers.
Oh, I got
well,
excited
even director Deborah Chow had to clarify in her interview. When he showed up in the trailer, everyone thought it was Forlom, and she said, "No, that's a different droid named One Jack." And I was so excited that he had gotten, so much attention. It was really fun, really fun.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah, and
thanks.
The thing too is that like we all love droids, right? And the thing too is we need to see more, especially like the bounty hunter droids. That was the one of my favorite scenes in Empire Strikes Back was when Vader was he hired all those bounty hunters, and then you're looking through all the different bounty hunters. You're like, okay, that guy has like a bandage over his head. We must have gotten to like some sort of fight,
Dengar,
and then
Dengar.
You got obviously all the way at the end is Boba Fett, but you got Bosk,
IG-88,
IG-88. So honestly,
Forlom, Zuckuss.
We need to see more of them, just because.
Let me tell you a little thing about One Jack. He was supposed to be, in their description, the most kick-ass protocol droid ever. He needed to be able to run and jump. And so my screen test for One Jack was literally in C-3PO legs, seeing how much I could do, how much I could run or jump. And so, I could do some. The suit is not that restrictive that I can't run and jump. But, the cool thing about One Jack is we've always seen Forlom in the comics with Zuckuss, lots of action, and I always wanted to see Forlom in action. And we never got to see that in live action. So when I got the opportunity to participate in the creation of One Jack, I tailored the suit so that I could run and jump. I could climb ladders, anything. And we ended up doing a little bit of that on the rooftop. I really wanted to have his motion be really snappy, really fast, quick draw. He has holsters built into his legs, and so when you watch, on my phone I have tons of behind the scenes stuff, but all the takes that we were doing, because I was really trying stuff. I was trying how do I want that to look? And actually, I think I might have something on my Instagram, but there is something on my Instagram behind the scenes, so you can see how snappy the
armor was.
Way faster than C-3PO might move. And anyway, because he was a lot of fun. I did all my own stunts in that, where I fell on the ground all without a pad all morning, with Ewan McGregor standing over me saying, "Chris, are you all right?" And I was like,
yes,
I am right.
You're like, yes, Obi-Wan, I'm good.
Right. You do not have the high ground. I did say that to him, and he laughed, and he goes, "I would never say that."
He's thinking it, great. But he didn't say it.
Yeah.
I do have to ask, out of all the sets that you were on, which was your ultimate favorite ones to be on?
There were so many incredible sets, but I will say the one I had the most emotional fun on was flying the Razor Crest as Q90. I was in a practical cockpit on a set in the volume in space. So it's not right here. It's like way out there, you know, because you're in this big room. So just a real quick story about that. I've been looking forward to this all season. About the day we were going to be filming me flying the Razor Crest, and it was really the night before that I was so excited I couldn't sleep, and I got to set the next day. I was exhausted, but also really energized, you know. And so I don't know if you've heard the story, but Jon Favreau said, Chris, why don't you go get familiar with the cockpit again? Not only was I looking forward to this all season, my whole life flying a ship in Star Wars. It goes all the way back to when I was a kid, and you know, one of those refrigerator shipping boxes, and it's a a big cardboard box, and you can turn it into anything you want. Well, I turned mine into a spaceship with buttons and windows and all that stuff, right? And so I really, really believed, you know, that this is, you know, one day I'll get to fly a spaceship or drive a land speeder or whatever. So now fast forward to I'm an adult on Star Wars set, and Jon Favreau says, why don't you go get familiar with the cockpit? And nobody else is over there. They're not filming over there yet, so it's just me and the Razor Crest. And the lights were low over there because it wasn't lit or anything. And I go sit in Mando's seat, and all the buttons and switches work. You turn them on, you flip all the switches, and they're all turning on. They're lighting up. You know, they make clicking sounds because they're real practical switches. So I was doing all that. The controls, you know, all worked great, and I was just so freaking excited.
Were you verbalizing the laser sounds? Pew 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 pew.
All of it. Right. Yeah. I'm leaning into it. You know, I've got the control sticks right here, so I'm like leaning in. Like, I mean, whoa, you know, all of it. And so then I got done with all that. Mm-hmm. And I just sit back in the seat. I'm dressed as Q90 from the neck to the waist. I don't have the head on, but I'm just sitting there. I just took this deep breath, and my whole I get emotional thinking about it. My whole life of fandom flashed before my eyes to this very moment. Again, it was just like the ferryman to this very moment. And as I took that deep breath and just closed my eyes, I passed out. Literally fell asleep.
Oh no!
Because I was so excited and so built up, you know, and I passed out. And I was sleeping in Mando's seat, and Jon Favreau and Deborah Chow and everybody comes in the back of the Razor Crest right behind me into the cockpit, and they're like, "All right, Chris, we're ready to go." And I was like, "Oh yes, I'm awake. Yes, we're ready to go. Let's go." I'm doing all the things like I was just it was hilarious. So anyway, I'm doing all the switches and everything, and Jon Favreau goes, "Chris, you're gonna scomp link into the or scomp jack into the ship and fly it that way." So the whole scene, you'll see me with my arm out to the right here like this, right? Mm-hmm. However, I was like, that's kind of boring. I'm just going to keep doing all the switches. So I kept my one hand here. So I just did all the switches. You know, I kept doing it. And Deborah Chow was like, just keep doing that. Like, it looks really good.
Looks great.
When you see Zero doing all the switches, it's because it's Chris Bartlett as an 8-year-old flying a ship in Star Wars.
That's awesome.
But keep it cool. I'm keeping it cool.
Yeah.
You know, I can't. You can't fanboy out on a Star Wars set. You have to like keep it cool. But I was channeling all of that, you know, 8-year-old energy right into the, into all those scenes. I just loved it so much.
And then after that, you slept like a baby.
Yeah, right.
I give you credit because I wouldn't be able to contain myself if I was in one of the sets. I'd be like. Like freaking out.
Nilda, you would be crying.
Everybody does.
I would be emotionally crying.
You would be crying.
Yeah.
I would be crying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like if I would be putting on like a helmet or something and just bawling out, crying inside.
Be like, don't look at me, please.
Yeah, it would just be like tears coming, and they'd be like, PJ, what's wrong with you? I'm like, oh no, it's my contract.
Yeah. It's overwhelming as far as it's not just you. It's like there's tons of stuff that people are you've prepared for this role, so
yeah,
you're trying to do the best job you can to make this feel really real, and so there's not really. I suppose there would be, my emotion was it just overwhelmed me so much that I passed out. But but anyway, you asked about the volume and if I have had a favorite set. I mean, the ship was one. Being the night scene in Obi-Wan Kenobi where I played One Jack, that was in the volume, but there was all practical sets, and the volume has a ceiling on it. But when you walk into the volume and you're in a skyscraper environment, you look up and it looks like it's literally going up. Does really weird.
Wow.
It's a weird feeling. So it just messes with your mind. But you don't have to pretend. You're not looking at a green screen sitting on a green box with a couple of tennis balls looking at you. It's like you're just playing. And that's why these shows feel so fun, because we're all just having the time of our life.
It's just an amazing invention, and it's going to change the way movies are made. Like you said, you just get immersed in the environment because it's like you're there.
Well, and using CG or digital things to supplement, not be the scene. It supplements the scene. So when you have practical, set dressing and practical props and things like that, and then also you have digital elements, it's much better, I feel like, than an entire digital scene.
Yeah, that's the best of both worlds. That's why I think the original trilogy was the best. And then when they started, George wanted to go all digital, it didn't fly for me when I saw it, and then when they started getting towards Revenge of the Sith, they started bringing a little more practical effects back in. And then when they did Rogue One, they went back to old school ways, the way it was filmed. Right. And I think that's what really brought me in. And it was funny because, these characters aren't in A New Hope in Rogue One. And I was still shocked at the end when they died. I was like, oh, man, it's kind of sad because you get invested in them over that 2.5 hours. And then they die and you're like, oh, man, they were supposed to die. And you're just like,
yeah.
Well, I was going to say is that, like, that's why Rogue One, sits so well with so many fans. Is just because, like what Sean said, like there's a good mix between the practical effects and the new technology. And I feel like Ahsoka now is kind of doing that. Like, so I get so immersed, and it seriously feels like Star Wars when I'm watching like the Ahsoka show. Whether it be, I know, John Williams didn't do the score, but the musical score comes close to being as John Williams as possible without being John Williams, if that makes any sense, So
right. You get little elements, musical elements that run a thread through some of the music that you're like, oh, that feels familiar.
And not to give too much spoilers, like this past episode I watched yesterday, like the dogfighting scene. I was like, wait, this feels like the dogfighting scene in A New Hope, right? Where like you start hearing that the music coming on, and you're like, wait, whoa, cool. And to segue that into, you worked with Favreau and Filoni, like how's working with those guys? Like, I mean, I would like hold back as many questions as possible. It's just
I don't think I could be in the same room with them. I'd probably be crying with Filoni.
No, you would be soaking it up, Nilda. Both of them, first of all, are nerds just like us. We will sit around and just talk about Star Wars, and it'll be like story time with Dave when he's just talking about Jedi training and why it is this way, and how a lightsaber works. And I mean, it's just like, wow, like you can't get enough. It's great. And then John will come in and like at the beginning, remember in season 3 of Mandalorian when Grogu tries on IG-12, the mech, basically the mech suit where he can drive him. That day, we're on set, we're getting ready to start to rehearse some stuff, and we're like figuring stuff out, John has a really great way of coming in and saying, all right, let me just kind of explain what's going on today. You know how when your dad taught you how to ride a bike, your dad is excited for you to learn a new skill, but also nervous because you're also going to be in danger.
Yeah.
You're really excited, but also scared because this is, all the big kids do this, but I could wreck. What if I can't pedal? What if I can't do it? My dad is holding on to my bike. What if he lets go and I fall down? John goes, that's what we're filming today.
Wow.
Like, oh, I can relate to that. Yeah. I get it, what we're doing. So immediately you because of core memories you may have, you understand what Mando's going through, you understand what Grogu's going through. Uncle Grief Karga is just like, all right, this is gonna be fun. It's like he doesn't have a stake in the danger really, but he did sort of put together or arrange for the shiny new bike to be there. But, anyway, it was just made it so, yes, it just made it such a fun. John is so good at high level storytelling, like understanding. And then also other times he will like season 1. When I was filming as Q90 in the Prison Break episode, it was me, Bill Burr, Brendan Wayne, who was in the suit for The Mandalorian, and the three of us were sitting there, and John comes over and he says, I want to come sit with the cool kids. And I was like, and because we're in our cast chairs that are assigned cast chairs, and anyway, he comes over and goes, we were just talking, and he said, what's fun about being an actor and a director is that I know what the director wants from the actor, and I know what the actor wants from the director, and I'm really trying to help give you guys that experience. He says, I just, a director just wants the actor to be on time, which really means early, because if you're on time, you're just seconds away from being late, But anyway, be on time or early. Be prepared with your stuff, the script and your character, and just be prepared. Don't show up with anyway, all he said was, come on time, be prepared with your stuff, and come with ideas. And that was just so generous of him to share that, and I just really love that. And what's cool about John is, and John and all the directors on the show, because this is the philosophy, same with Dave, is they love for you to have ideas, even about stuff that's not necessarily your purview. And so it's much better to work with someone who has ideas and opinions than a person who is just I'm just here to do this job and that's it.
Right.
I'm just a person in the costume saying words. That's it today. It's fun because, inevitably throughout filming, the director is always solving problems, whether it's like a storytelling problem, or maybe it's a costume problem, or maybe it's a performance problem. I don't mean like, terrible issues. I just mean like, things to solve. And inevitably, sometimes they will look up and look around for inspiration. So you always want to be the one who is paying attention. You are on something so special, whether it's Star Wars, whether it's a commercial, whether it's a, I don't know, some other show, you're part of something that's so special, and you want to be paying attention. A lot of times, people that are cast in background, or anything else, sometimes there can be a lot of talking, like, oh man, my dog is sick, or my leg hurts, or, whatever, this thing at school. Yeah. And that rumble can rise up, and sometimes the director has to say, hey, quiet on set, please. But if you are paying attention to the director, just watch the director Watch how she solves problems. And maybe if you can hear, that's even better. But a lot of times when they're looking around, they're looking for ideas. And sometimes people who are paying attention are the answers to those ideas. So, so anyway, I found this happens all the time, and I tell this to young actors, especially background actors. Hey, watch the director, pay attention to what she's and on Obi-Wan Kenobi, there was a moment when we did that, and I was part of the background as one Jack because we wanted to establish him as part of the the seedy underbelly of the city. And then 2 minutes after I said that to this young actor, the second AD goes, Chris, you and who are you? Whatever his name was, come over here. We want to have you more over here because whatever, they're solving some problem. And I was like, see, pay attention and be part of this, like be present in this moment. This is such a special moment. So, but that works for life. I mean, just like, yes, there's tough stuff tomorrow, but right now, today, I'm talking with my friends. We're talking about Star Wars. There's droids and, pops and lightsabers or whatever the background. This is a gift. This is really so that's what something I would pass on.
So basically what they tell you in school is paying attention to your teachers actually does pay off.
It does.
I mean, yes,
by listening to them.
Yes, yeah, it does. It does pay off. I would say, I mean, yes, because like in my other life, I work in video games as a lead artist, and when I was in college, I was like wanted to hear, like, these teachers are experts as I understood it, and so I would talk to them and stay after and like, how did you get to where you are, and what do you like about what you do and stuff. Yeah, and then when someone comes in and says, Death Star droid is awesome. That's right. Someone comes in and says, hey, we're looking for a couple of artists. We're hiring somewhere. Oh, yeah, this guy is really passionate about this thing. So, then I got a job.
Pays off.
That way, yes. So you're right, Nilda. How is it working with Bill Burr, Star Wars 77 Flex? I was expecting Bill to be much more of a goofy fella, but that's what he does for a living. That's not how he is in person.
Right.
Really?
Right. Yeah. I follow him on Instagram, and I actually follow his wife because I like, she shows more of like the comedic, family side humor of him.
Sure.
And you see the huge difference. You see him on TV as being like the very loud, obnoxious comedian. But at home, he's just like, leave me alone. I don't want to deal with the cameras. I'm just, hanging out.
Well, Jim Carrey was like that, because I think he said that in an interview once. He goes, I'm this goofy guy, but when I'm at home, I'm just chill. But people expect me to be this goofy guy. And he goes, honestly, it gets kind of annoying because I just want to have my downtime. That's my job.
Right.
I got to go into that mode when I'm there. And then you turn it off.
And that takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of energy. And also when people want that out of you, it pulls energy out of you too. So, so anyway, he was also really serious about doing a good job as Miggs Mayfeld. And so, he was going over his stuff. We're sitting in our cast chairs there, and I was just waiting for him to have like goofy, spill out jokes or whatever. Like, no, he was preparing, and I loved that.
Was he just as excited to be on Star Wars too? Was he a little kid inside?
I think he was. I mean, I can't say what was in his mind, but what we know about Bill Burr is that he always kind of made fun of Star Wars and the fans.
Okay.
And so it was really ironic and funny when Jon Favreau brought him, cast him in Star Wars. And so he talks about that now. But he saw it as he's playing a character. He's an actor, so he was playing a character, and I think he really had some fun with it. I can't say if he was like excited to be in Star Wars. I think we're all excited as actors when we get to do something fun, and this was fun. He got to have fun with this character.
Maybe he's changed his mind now.
I'm sure. The experience of working with John and Dave and the other directors is just everyone on set knows that we're making something really special. And so I'm sure he was like, yeah, Star Wars is pretty cool. I mean, how about Bill Burr's story arc, like in season 2 at the refinery, and we get to see something so relatable when this bad guy is describing, how a lot of Bill Burr's friends were killed, former, well, his cohorts were, many of them were killed, and this guy is describing how that was just so, hilarious or satisfying or whatever. And you could just see the humanity in Miggs Mayfeld's character. But you're like, in Star Wars, it's Star Wars. He's not going to really do anything too dangerous. And then he does. And that was like, yes, that was such a great moment. I love that. So relatable.
Yeah, and to be honest, I thought he was gonna have a small part in the show, but he actually had a really big part in those episodes, right? Just because, like you said, his story arc, you went from he's just a Imperial guy, former Imperial guy, now to you see why all the pain that he went through as being enlisted for the
they made a black series out of him.
Yeah, they did.
Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Another question also was asking is from Flex. He said you played so many characters to date. Which has been your favorite and why?
Without question, Q90 is my favorite because I got to do so many things I always dreamed of doing as a kid.
Right. Yeah.
Flying the Razor Crest. Bill Burr should have been with him when they boarded Gideon's ship. Didn't make sense that they cut him loose. Oh, okay, interesting. I got to fly the ship. I got to be a bounty hunter. I had cool accessories, with my blaster. And I also got in this costume. I got to have that shootout in the streets of Navarro, which I had practiced doing that as a child in the streets of Glendale, Arizona, with homemade little weapons, and we're running around the neighborhood. I got you. I'm hiding behind a mailbox. I'm like, and then I got I got to do a great stunts with pyro, and got a fantastic death with as an actor. That's fun. With Mando shooting me in the back. So I just had so much fun with him. From the first day, and I did my screen test walking around Legacy Effects, because all I saw was this piece of artwork by Brian Mattias. And then they showed me the costume, which is really, like I said, only from the waist up. But I see this, and I'm like, oh, this is so cool. So they put it on, and they said, okay, we're going to go over to this area where we're going to film you, for your screen test. So I have this distance to walk, and when I put this on, okay, look at the head, and the eyes are so menacing looking, right? When you look at a praying mantis, he looks very much like that. Yeah. So I'm walking around the studio, and I'm pretending. I mean, this is my only chance to rehearse this, right? We're walking. I gotta do something. So I'm walking through the studio. And I'm staring at people and walking, let's see, here we go. So I'm staring at people like this.
He's crazy.
Oh my God.
And I'm looking at them like, I'm sort of looking at what they're doing. And then I move on.
See, I would be freaked out because praying mantis scare the crap out of me.
Yes, right. There's another story about that. But anyway, what I heard was, oh man, that's really creepy. And I was like, oh, good. I'm getting the emotional response I want out of people. So anyway, it was just, he was just really, I was playing him as cold, calculating, not like C-3PO, not appropriate and, a social gathering kind of a person. This is a droid who was calculating, cold, and smarter than everybody. I didn't know that at the time, but anyway, so he was my favorite from the very beginning. And then I come around the corner and I see this little green guy sitting on the table with these big dark eyes. And I'm like, oh, what the crap is that? And that's the first glimpse I got of Grogu.
That's awesome.
And I got to work with Grogu. So yeah, the Q90 is my favorite.
So I've got a question. When was the first time you donned the 3PO armor?
Professionally?
Yeah.
Was 2006, I believe.
Okay.
And that was at Lucasfilm.
Oh, nice.
Sean I did talk about C-3PO armor all day.
Yes, right. He's so beautiful, right?
Yeah, he's awesome. But the fact that
what's that?
I was just going to say the fact that he's from the original trilogy. I mean, we're at that age. That's what we grew up with, and that's like my Star Wars. And I would have been so giddy if they're like, "We want you to play C-3PO, and we want you to come to the Oscars," and you're like, "What?" Okay.
Well, right. So those two conversations were years apart. But the first one was, I was just going down to do a little audition at Lucasfilm. But they bolt the chest. You can see it right there in Sean picture. They bolt the chest together, and then they put on the neck, and then they put the two head halves together and screw it together, and then they turn on the lights. And I said, oh, my goodness, why hello, I am C-3PO, human cyborg relations. I am fluent in over 6 million. And they were like, oh wow, you've been practicing. And I'm like, I've been preparing for this day my whole life.
Yeah, I love it.
Well, you sound perfect.
You've got it down.
Yeah, you sound perfect.
Oh, thanks. Thank you so much.
I just got goosebumps.
Yeah.
Oh, well, he might say, Mistress Nelda, it's nice to meet you. So, but
it's so good. It's so creepy. It's so good.
I
love it.
Thanks. Well, so, when we were filming Kenobi, that there's a cameo of C-3PO and R2-D2 in the very first episode, right? And that was really special because I've been playing all these other droids in narratives and not him. And the producer said, all right, Chris, why don't you suit up? You don't have to put the head on. Just come out. You can meet the cast. And right. And I said, okay. But in my mind, I'm saying, no, I'm going to come out as C-3PO.
Yeah.
Because I want the cast to meet the character that they grew up with. I don't want them to meet some guy in a suit.
Right.
Yeah.
So I suited up, the eyes are on and everything. And the suit that I wear is equipped with an amplifier and a speaker and a microphone. That's how I designed it, so that when you talk to C-3PO, it's just like what it might really be like. And his voice is very clear. You can understand him. He sounds like him, and it's not too loud. It's just loud enough for conversation. And so I wandered out. It's such a cool moment. I wandered out like I was lost, and I wandered in onto that set, that scene. Where some people were waiting, and I said, "Is this a droid maintenance facility? R2-D2, is that you?"
My God!
And so I start walking over to R2, and everything stops. And it's this character is so beloved, right? And R2 as well. That duo together is so iconic, and I just really wanted people to feel how special what we were doing was. Sorry to get emotional about it.
No, that is awesome what you did.
Yeah,
he's just really special to me. So anyway, I go out and we stop. Everything stopped, and we were like, oh, okay. We started taking pictures and everything, and I wasn't doing it to be distractive. They said it's time to come out to set, and C-3PO was coming out to set. So you, as an artist, you want audiences to feel something with your work. So whether you're playing a song on a violin, or maybe you're performing a scene, or telling a joke, or telling some kind of a story, or you're painting, you've painted something amazing. You want people to feel something, and that is, I would say, the biggest satisfaction of the work that I do as an actor in this galaxy that I love so much.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Just the fact that you walk out, and just by doing that, I think you just touch so many people, just by bringing them right back to their childhood. Next thing you know, they're 7 years old again, and you're like, there's 3PO. Like, you are C3PO. You're not Chris. You're C3PO. And just the fact that you can do the voice so good. Did you have to practice that over and over, or was it something that kind of came natural?
No, I just woke up one day and started talking. No, yeah.
You're like, some people got a gift.
Right. I used to have to that point, Sean, most people are not born with the gift that they, we see so many people that are like, oh, they're so gifted. They must be.
Right.
I would say 95% of the people on Earth who are good at something had to learn it and had to practice it. And then they just practice the crap out of it, So I think so much of the time we see people that we admire that are doing something is so cool, and we're like, oh, they're just so gifted. I could never do something like that. You can always do something like that. So what I did was I had a 40-minute commute one way. So it's 80 minutes every day. And I would listen to the DVDs, and I would listen to certain sections that were just C3PO, scenes, and I would listen to it over and over and over and over and over. And so when I first started, I didn't really sound like I was doing falsetto, and it just, didn't, but then I would sort of refine it and get closer and closer and closer and closer. One of the things that helped was, as a fan, I met Anthony Daniels.
I was gonna ask that.
And we were talking, and he said, let's hear the voice. Which is like, it's like an Elvis, it's like Elvis saying to an Elvis impersonator, oh, let me hear you do me. It's like, it's like, so I got so nervous, and I was like, hello, I am C3PO, human cyber. And he was like, oh, that's good. Why don't you slow it down a little? And so, you take a deep breath, and so then for years, I just worked to try and perfect it. And all I'm trying to do, Sean, is I'm trying to extend the life of this very special character. I haven't taken over. There's no torches being passed or anything like that. All I'm doing is working with a really talented people to try and this character still exists. And thankfully, Anthony Daniels is very active, in doing the voice, and also, in the films. And so, aren't we so lucky to be able to see that?
Right.
So, but he is requested a little more often than, in more places than availability allows. And so I'm just grateful for the chance to kind of help. That's all. So I'm just trying to do the best I can.
Well, you do a great job.
Yeah, you do. I'll be honest. Sean and I got to meet Anthony Daniels. What was it, last year, Sean, or the year before?
Yeah,
2 years ago.
2 years ago. Yeah. And I have to say, the likeness of the voice. That's why I said
it's good. It's good.
It's really good.
So good.
When I said creepy, I did not mean that in a bad way. It was just
creepy in a good way.
Like you.
No, I know.
You've got it down. Yeah, you've got it down.
Yeah,
it's good.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you very much. That means a lot. It really does, because I worked really hard at it.
I have a question. In terms of the droid movements and stuff. I mean, like you said before, it's something that you did with practice. Was that something you practiced for a very long time, or you just kind of how did you get into doing the droid movements and perfecting it?
Well, I watched a lot of, again, to Anthony Daniels' credit, I watched a lot of 3PO. Okay. And you know, a lot of times the most common question, well, the second most common question, most common one is it hot in there? The second most common question is, does the suit make you move that way? No, it doesn't. I can stand with my arms hanging down. I can put my arms straight out. You know, I can walk casually, and I can run in the suit. So all of this is a performance, you know. And C-3PO looks over here and takes a snapshots over here. Oh, is that the R2? You know, so like that's a performance. The walk, the little shuffle, the moving where everything has a termination. You know, like everything. It's not like all like this. You know,
is it like miming a little bit, like being a mime? Is it?
Yeah, kind of, because you're I mean, as an actor, I'm saying the lines too, but sometimes I'm playing to a voice track, you know, and so you're like when I did the Oscars, I got the voice track beforehand so I could listen to it, and there were like 4 or 5 different sections that I wanted to plan my animation. So one of them is when C-3PO sees the Oscar statue. Well, he looks up and he says he is rather handsome, I suppose. You know, so he's looking up. You know, and then R2 says something, so I want to look down at him and acknowledge him, and then BB-8, he's over there, so I want to look at that. You know, please don't encourage him, BB-8. You know, so everything is planned out. You know, you want to, but then it starts to, you know, the more I did it, the more it felt really natural. And in fact, when I went to do the Orville, Mark Jackson said, just so you know, the Kalon droid robot is nothing like C-3PO. And I'm like, no, I know, it's cool, you know. And so then I got to as the number one Kalon of the group. I got to train all of the other Kalons how to walk all in unison, and how we, you know, Mark trained us how to, you know, the hands are always up ready to be of service, you know, so they're always like this. A lot of times people will go like this, and that's not, you know, C-3PO is always ready. He's always ready to help. And then that was something that Mark Jackson also did on the Orville is with Isaac. But anyway.
Well, I was going to say, you know,
what the question was.
Oh no, you answered it, like perfecting the movements and stuff. Because you know, I'm watching, you know, when I watching C-3PO and some of the protocol droids you played, and also Q90 and One Jack. They're like, it feels like you incorporate different movements for each droid. They're not like C-3PO.
Like, yes, that's on purpose.
Yes.
Every when you get to play all of them or 99% of them, I get to give each one its own personality. So what was well, like the traffic droid in Book of Boba Fett, it was supposed to be a comical moment, you know. So this droid is really worn out. He's super greasy. He's all scratched up and everything. And so I played him like he was, you know, a little like loose bolts, you know. He was whoa, you know, that kind of thing. And you know, which is very different from C-3PO, who is very tight and you know, he keeps his maintenance, you know, whatever. Yeah. So you know, whereas Q90 is very cold, like a praying mantis. I actually studied praying mantis videos and movement to try and get his movement to look creepy. Who else?
They scared me.
Same thing with One Jack was similar, but yeah, being able to play multiple of these sort of species, I guess you could say, I can give them each individual personalities and movements. Some of them are similar, but I'm trying to think of another one. I can't think of it.
Because I was gonna say you could definitely notice it when you watch it. Like, you're not saying, oh, that's 3PO, you know, the guy who played 3PO playing this, you know, it's all the same. No, they're all like different like personalities, like you said, and you do such a great job. And,
good, thank you, PJ. Yeah, I want them all to have a droid foundation, But then from that point, they can have different, different
programming. They programmed you different.
Programming, right? Yeah. If you watched a certain show that debuted last week, I play four droids in this show.
That was my next question. You're on it.
Yeah, we have it.
There you go. Yeah. So I played the navigator droid in episode 1.
Love it.
The RA7 droid in episode 2, and C1D1 in episode 2, and the white Home 1 protocol droid in episode 2 and 3.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
So C1D1 was a really cool. I really like that paint job.
C1D1 is the red. Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, two-tone. There was 2 of us, so I got to the awesome opportunity of calling one of my friends and saying, "Hey, do you want to be in Star Wars today?"
Oh, no way.
So Dan Bowman is the other.
Can you imagine picking up that phone call and being
right.
like, "What? Yeah, I'll be there."
Yeah, so the other droid in that, the other red droid in that scene is my good friend Dan Bowman, who's due to show up at my house here in a few minutes. And he also played the blue droid in season 3 Mandalorian in the cantina, the really beautiful shiny chrome blue one. So he played both of those. He also played Wyo in Obi-Wan Kenobi, the chrome droid with blue eyes.
Yes.
That was helping little Leia. So Dan and I have I've gotten to call Dan a few times. That was really fun.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
I do have to ask, because I've been slowly getting into Legos. I have to pick your brain. How was it like being on Lego Masters?
Okay. The other passion of mine as a kid was Lego. And so playing Lego all my life growing up, and then when I had kids, of course, we all played Lego and built Lego, both sets and custom things. When I got the call to be on Lego Masters, it was like, could this get, I just go to bed sometimes, giggling that this is the life. And so when I went to go on Lego Masters, we did the Lego R2 and 3PO were guest hosts on season 1 of the US version of Lego Masters, and and it's hosted by Will Arnett. We got to guest host with him. He's hilarious. We did so much improv and ad lib that there's so much stuff that didn't make it, only because of time, But I did the same thing I did on Kenobi. The director says, "Okay, why don't you suit up? You don't have to put on the head, just come out." And I did the same thing. I came out and Artu, I really don't think we should rush into this. And we walk in. But that moment on that show when the contestants all see the droids for the first time, that is the real first time that they saw them and even knew that they were going to be on the show. So that emotion and the smiles and surprise is real. And so they kept us secret. So, but yes, another thing about that show was because it was all ad lib, I was doing I was saying it all in character. And like I said, there's an amplifier and a microphone, so you can hear everything I'm saying really clearly. And we just did the whole show like that. So I feel really grateful that the voice that you hear in that episode is mine. I went back and re-recorded every ad lib I did, every impromptu joke and everything I did. That was me. And again, I'm only telling you that because I know we like behind the scenes stuff. But
absolutely.
Absolutely.
Again, we don't really talk about this. This is not something that's, we don't have any big spread in a magazine or anything about this. This is when people see 3PO, we just want them to see 3PO.
Right.
And you guys are just getting, a little glimpse into the behind the scenes stuff, but it's, we just want him to be him.
Yeah, no, which is great. Like I said, like you do such a great job with C3PO and all these other protocol droids and droids. You mentioned that you love Lego. Do you collect a lot of Lego? I mean, we see some really cool collectibles behind you. Do you collect a lot of Star Wars collectibles, or paintings or artwork?
A lot of the Star Wars stuff I like to make. So whether it's building droids, I didn't mention that I build all the droids that I wear on the show, except for Q90. Q90 was built by Legacy Effects. Ask Chris if he needs to go.
Okay. That was in the private. Yeah, because I know you said your friend was coming over. Okay.
No, I'm fine.
That's in a little private chat just for us four.
Okay, no, I'm fine. No, Dan, no, we're fine.
Okay.
But I like this. Let's see, this poster back here is one that I illustrated of the first time C3PO and R2D2 came back to Disney World, and so they're kind of like on these hills that are kind of like the sand dunes of Tatooine, but they're all green, grassy, hills, and R2 and 3PO are looking at the castle in the background there. I just did that for me and my buddy who puppeteers R2. But yeah, I like to make stuff, and these I like to collaborate with Doug Chang of Lucasfilm and John Favreau and Dave Filoni. We come up with cool, new droids, and I'm part of a very small. I mean, I'm a small part of a big team that makes some really, really cool stuff on that we see on the shows.
That's awesome.
And so yeah, I'm like when I'm not filming, I'm building protocol droids, different designs and things like that. A lot of times I like to see what concept art that didn't make it into the shows or films, and I like to build those. So
and you must have really liked going into like Droid Depot at Disney.
Oh yeah, isn't that so much fun? Yeah. So what do I like to collect? I mean, the stuff I collect is actually old car parts. It's not really Star Wars.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I don't really have a thing like as far as figures or I like to I restore old cars, so that's why Dan's coming over. He's an old car guy too, and I have an old car that I'm restoring.
What are you working on? Or you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, it's a 58 Plymouth. Have you ever seen the movie Christine?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
so if you go to on Instagram, if you go to the Falcon Van or the Falcon Van, that's my car Instagram, and there you'll see images of the two cars that I'm currently restoring, and but they're both daily drivers, so they both they're just getting enhancements at this point. But I'm a huge fan of the film Christine, and this is it's a 58 Plymouth, very similar to the one in the film. That was a 2-door, mine's a 4-door, but it looks just exactly like it. So what was there? Where was I going? Oh yeah. So when you ask what I'm collecting, I usually collect old car parts because I'm building cars, and that's I'm a huge fan. I wanted to find a 58 Plymouth. It took me forever, and finally when I found one, it was in a barn and it hadn't been running for 30 years, but the interior was perfect and it didn't run. They didn't know why it didn't run. So during COVID, I brought her back to life after 30 years.
Wow.
Nice.
Oh wow.
Nice.
And so now she's a daily driver, and she's the biggest creature costume I've ever worn.
There you go. There you go.
But nice. It's nighttime. You pull into a parking lot full of people or whatever, and she goes so slow like this, and the big, the giant, front end and the fins, it's
I'm looking for the Instagram. Is it the Falcon
Van?
Van, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
The Falcon Van. I also have Bartlett motorcycles. That's my riding screen. I guess I don't know. I guess I could put them all on one, but it would just be they're for enthusiasts, like the Falcon van. It's a 1962 Ford Falcon Econoline van.
Oh,
there's
that's
so
cool.
cool.
Wow.
Yeah. But she was a barn find. She was not not in
That
great condition when I found her, but she wasn't rusty or anything, so that was really good. But yeah, you can find that's the kind of stuff I work on.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Outside.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that van is beautiful.
Thanks. Yeah,
it's
all
old
original.
school. Yeah, I love old school vans. I always said I wanted to buy like an original Volkswagen van, but I've never been able to find one in like the price range that I wanted to.
Right. The Volkswagens are really high priced now, but the Ford and the Ford and Chevy also, and Ford and Chevy both made vans during the same time, and they were like the answer to the Volkswagen van. So anyway, I really love this one. It has a pop top camper on it and stuff.
Yeah, it looks beautiful.
And, yeah. So anyway, Christine, this is I was filming a show that's going to come out this fall. That's not Star Wars at Warner Brothers, and so it was around Halloween. So I was driving Christine onto set. It was really fun.
Nice.
Oh, that's pretty sick.
Yeah, thanks.
And I also wanted to let everyone know that you can definitely follow Chris at Chris F. Bartlett on Instagram as well. And so I pulled up your Instagram. You were saying that there's
wait, go back up. He actually had featured that's go back down. The little girl who's dressed like Ahsoka.
That's Gabe's daughter.
That's Gabe's daughter.
Down.
Go back down.
Nope.
One more.
The little kid.
Oh, not that
right there.
Oh,
yeah.
That's our friend Gabe's daughter.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. This is Lauren Mary Kim is my dear friend. She's does the performance capture for Ahsoka in the Clone Wars. She's also a super talented martial artist and stunt woman on all the new shows.
Yeah.
And I my table was next to her. We were signing at a convention, and I just saw this.
She was signing this.
Yes, cool, right. So I saw this little Ahsoka walk up, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is gonna be precious." So I just went around and filmed it, and it was so sweet. And Lauren is so sweet with people, and especially kids. And this was just such a fun moment, like action performance Ahsoka meeting little Ahsoka. It was just really cool. So.
She was so
I liked
nice.
it. Something else.
Sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was saying she was so nice. I had put on my Instagram story that, it sucks that I couldn't go to, San Diego Comic-Con, and I wanted somebody to be able to get her signature for me. And my friend Gabe messaged me, and he was like, hey, he's like, I actually know, like, the people who work for her crew. If you want, I'll get something signed. And then she actually had reached out to our friend Gabe and was like, hey, do you know this girl? And he's like, yeah, that's my friend. And she was like, okay, make sure you come to me so I can sign her plaque. And I was like, yay.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Well, something that I love about conventions, why I love them so much. Sorry, it got a little dark here and I hadn't set up lights. Something that I love about conventions is you have these really pure moments with fans who we're all losing ourselves in the excitement for of our fandom in this moment, and so you have these really fun pure moments. And what I like to do at shows is because I got my start building costumes. I love it when people come in costume, and I always encourage people to come in costume, whether you're finished or not, whether you think it's perfect or not, just come in costume. And what I do is I collect characters. So I will go around and take these kind of like, I don't know, little dramatic little clips of people in their costumes and then stitch them all together, because I give them a little bit of direction, like, all right, I want you to turn around and I want you to turn around and do you've made this costume. This guy is so awesome, by the way. He already gets it. But a lot of times you spend so much time building a costume that, and maybe you're not, so much effort went into the costume that maybe we forget about playing the character. Mm-hmm. And so I just try to help a little bit as a performer to give people a little tips on, like, all right, so what I want you to do is I want to feel the energy of your character, not how you feel in the costume right now. I want to feel the energy of your character. And what I mean by that is, how would they stand and how would they walk, or how would they look at people? Because look at how heavy this is for this little Mando. That was perfect. That's such a real character thing.
Yep.
And this little guy, DJ, is so, him and his family have become really dear friends of mine. So I want to showcase their costume, but also their character. So like, how would their character, stand? So there's a lot of these, like this. So, you see Vader doing the stride,
wow.
And also from that angle. So I'm doing kind of little camera angles that you might see, in film. I'm circling around Boba, and I told these Mandos, I was like, I want you to scan the crowd while I go past you. And this is Mando. He looks like he's right off the set. It's so cool.
Yeah.
So this guy, what a nerd. And so like when I first tell people like, oh, I want to take a video of you, and they'll stand there, like a person in a costume. But I was like, I want you to show me like, what does this character do? This guy, this TIE pilot is, and then I was like, I want you to choke him, and I want to see Vader from your perspective, right?
That is cool.
Like, over the shoulder. So we're just making little movies. But
so
you
cool.
made this amazing costume. I want to show, and then I will always turn around and show them, look how cool you look when you're playing the character. And this is just kind of like a funny, no droids. Let's go. Yeah. So there's me and Dan.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's really
cool. There's there's really special story behind this suit also. But anyway, we just have so much fun making this galaxy a little smaller so we can all feel it,
Yeah, I was gonna say, my youngest son loves dressing up, especially dressing up as Star Wars too.
Yeah.
So he'll come in like he'll come as a stormtrooper, man. I mean, like if you come over our house, we have like so many Star Wars costumes on top of many other costumes. I just have a feeling that when he gets older, he's gonna love going to conventions, and he loves going to convention now, but he's a little young, so he gets tired pretty quickly. And
that's understandable. It's not for everybody.
Yeah, and then like
but you could grow into it.
He loves, trust me, when he's walking around the house, he's dressing up as a droid or Kylo Ren or Vader. And awesome. I can't wait to see you in person and introduce you to my son, because he loves dressing up. So
so cool.
Yeah.
That's
and
great.
It's cool that you guys you show a lot of these, like you said, like
like that one. See the Mandalorian there. Click on that one. That is the same thing. So I'm talking to R2. They had this cool set, that somebody had built, and I was like, I wanted to see there's incredible props that people had built, life-size props, and so I just give them a little bit of direction, like character direction. Like, I want you to check something out. Now, I didn't want the same one for every single thing, like maybe you check something on your gauntlet and then you look over there, and, so I was telling these girls, like, I want you to confer, talk to each other before, and then you're going to head out. This was,
wow.
This was with Giancarlo.
I love him.
Yeah. And these guys, I was like, I want you to knock at the door and then turn around. Nobody's home.
This is like mini movies. That's mini scenes. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's and I try to run them together like it's telling a little story. So turn around and show me your weapon or whatever. Look at, and then there's Heavy. So you reveal Heavy, and then there's this transition on this yellow jetpack, and then it goes straight to this girl who's a Twi'lek bounty hunter who has a yellow patch on her back. So anyway, we're just making little movies.
That's cool.
Yeah. Well, I was going to ask you is like, when's the next convention that you're going to be at? Anything
this week?
This week. Yeah.
Yeah, this weekend I'll be in Orlando at Fanboy Expo. I'll also be signing at a comic book store, a really well-established comic book store. I'll tell you what it is right now.
Is it Coliseum of Comics in Orlando?
No, but that sounds awesome. No, this one is called, what are we doing? Conventions. Yeah, there we go. It is the Famous Faces and Funnies comic book store in Orlando. And
I work for their what is it called? For their West Palm Beach one.
Do you really?
Yeah, you're gonna be in our Melbourne store. I work at the West Palm Beach one.
Oh my gosh, you got to come over. That would be awesome.
I'll try. This weekend I'll actually try to see if maybe I can head over to our because you're gonna be at the Melbourne store.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So then after that, later in the month, I'll be at Alamo HeroCon later in September. And then in October, I'll be at Bangor Comic and Toy Con in Bangor, Maine. Later in October, I'll be at Music City Multicon in Lebanon, Tennessee. And then November is Rhode Island Comic Con, which is huge. It's a great show. Yeah.
No, are you going to it, Rhode Island?
Yeah, I bought tickets for that one. It's my
great.
my early birthday gift to myself.
Oh, good. Yeah, that'll be really fun. I've done that show before, and it's such a great show, and tons of people coming, tons of people in costume. Yes, please do come, OBP Kenobi Relics.
OB, we're gonna be in talk. I gotta get you to get me something.
Great. Yeah. So I'm really excited. Orlando is my second home. I worked there at Disney World for several years. And so I'm really excited to go. I have tons of friends out there. I'm really looking forward to it. So
yeah,
awesome. I'm leaving literally tomorrow morning. I got to finish packing.
You're going to be there on Saturday?
Saturday and Sunday. And
okay,
Friday, Saturday and Sunday. And then I'll be at the comic book store on Wednesday.
Okay.
Actually, I'm gonna, definitely, Rhode Island's not too far away from me. I live in Jersey, so it's about like 3
come on
hours.
Down.
I'm definitely gonna stop by and hang out. And hang out with Nilda because Nil's gonna go.
And Flex is going too.
Oh, Flex is going too? Okay.
Yeah. It's like a whole bunch of us are gonna go. And I think I spoke to Jeff and he may go.
Yeah. I was gonna say, so with the cons, so those are the ones that are coming up. And then just really quick question. I don't want to take up too much of your time. So you said you worked in video games, correct? You were the
that most actors in Hollywood have to have a second job.
Oh, really?
What 90% of actors are actually working class actors that are not famous. They go to work. Mm-hmm. And they do their job, and they, make a TV show, and maybe they're a background, or maybe they're a featured character, or maybe they're a main character. But you wouldn't know to see their face, they wouldn't be recognized on the sidewalk. So what I'm, so my other career is I am a UI UX user experience expert in video games. So I've done this for almost 20 years.
Oh, wow.
And I first got my first job at Epic Games in 2005. You can
you
go search getting a job as a stormtrooper.
Oh, really?
That was in 2005. I suited up in my stormtrooper costume and went down to Epic Games because I'd already submitted my portfolio. And they said, "Oh, there's 400 people we're going through, so we'll call you when we're ready." And I was like, "What? I want to rise to the top of this pile. How do I do that?" So I figure video games, we're all nerds. Maybe they'll appreciate this. So I suited up in my costume and marched into the offices with this big loop, the big gun. I was a sand trooper, like in Mos Eisley with the big gun. And walked in there with a big backpack, and I was all dirty and everything.
Oh, nice.
Anyway, it was perfect. So you can read that article. Look for getting a job as a stormtrooper. And then so user experience is How do you get a player to play a new game they've never played before? How do you get a player to keep playing a game and not rage quit? How do you get a player to come back and play a game over and over and over for months? And that is something that I'm expert at. But it all comes from creating an experience that audiences want to or will enjoy and will keep coming back to. So as a performer, it does inform the other work I do in video games too. But I got started as a graphic artist in that's my other, I don't know, talent, I guess, is as a graphic designer and graphic artist. So I design the UI part of it is game art, and I design heads-up displays and targeting reticles and for weapons, vehicles, and ships. And then I also design all the storefront stuff and customization for characters and weapons. And so I've done that for years, for almost 20 years.
Yeah, one of the reasons why I asked that question is too is that like you worked on like any Star Wars games, because I mean,
yes.
Yeah.
I love the way he said it. He's like, yes.
I can say that I worked on. Well, okay, one was canceled, so I could tell you about this. This was a mobile a cover-based shooter like Gears of War, but it was on mobile. So it was called Star Wars Rivals, and it was really fun. And we finished it, and they did a test of it, and the progression of it was too complicated for people to understand. The gameplay was really fun, but the progression, like how your player progresses, but that was largely driven by a game designer who, that was just that they were directing that part of it, and ultimately sadly it's canceled. And then Disney Interactive was shut down. So I worked on that game, and then I worked on another game for EA, which is not Jedi Survivor. But it is another game that is currently in development. And I worked on that one for a year. So that's
Star Wars related, saying?
It's a Star Wars game.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I think I know what you're talking about.
Really? Well, it's not Outlaws either. It's not Outlaws.
Okay, no, but it might be something else.
Yeah. It's a new way to play Star Wars. I'll just say that.
Okay. I can't wait because I'm a gamer too. I love playing games. I play Jedi Survivor, which I'm taking my time with. I played I played a lot of Star Wars games, including Star Wars Galaxies. I don't know if you ever Force Unleashed,
Battlefront,
of course.
Dark Forces.
Oh my goodness. And some of the old,
that goes way back. Yeah.
Old Republic.
Old Republic. Yeah.
I played the Old Republic game on PC.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So to answer your question, that is, I worked on the first 4 Gears of War games from the beginning, from before they were, Gears of War. I worked on the Tomb Raider reboots, so Rise of Tomb Raider and Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Oh, wow. And I designed. There's a lot of stuff you can see in the game that I worked on and designed. I also worked on Fortnite, so there's still an Easter egg in there. I have to check, but there's still an Easter egg in Fortnite where you can see I put my name on the blueprint. Like when you played Fortnite.
Yeah, my son does. Yeah.
Okay. Well, when you hit B to build, your little character opens up a blueprint, and it's way out in front of you. You can't really see it. But if you back your player up against a wall like this, and then hit B, it opens up the blueprint really big, so the player can see it. And in the lower right-hand corner, it says Architect C.F. Bartlett.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
I did that.
I'm gonna try that later.
I did that in like 2012. So I don't know. You'll have to check. It's I don't know if it's still in there. But
I'm gonna ask my son to show me.
Yeah. And then the Star Wars games. And then also the big one is Call of Duty Modern Warfare Warzone 2019. I built a UI team and led the UI team in building the most profitable Call of Duty game ever. And and it was a lot of fun. The challenge was to broaden the audience to more casual players, and so I'm a casual player, and we were successful doing that. It was really a lot of fun. We had to make some choices that hardcore players weren't crazy about, but then once they played it, they were like, "This is fine. This is a lot of fun." So that was a really fun challenge, and it was a big game to work on.
My goodness!
I was in my office. Sleeping on my couch many nights and working Saturdays. Anyway, so somebody also down in the comments, OBP, or I think his name was, he mentioned about supporting. That's why we only support the Actors and Writers Guild. Most of them are just regular people like us. Yes, I think there's a misconception out there that that, like I said, actors are all millionaires. We are not.
No,
we are not. 90% of us are just like we go to set, we get paid that day, and it's in the contract that we have residuals, so that the studio, every time they play, the show, or someone clicks on it, that you would get a residual. That's how it's been for, decades. That is part of the agreement. Okay, so as the studio gets the value out of playing it over and over and over, and many audiences watching it, they pay the people a portion of that who made the show. Okay, and anyway, so that with streaming, the studios took a risk at giving so much away that it was they were losing money. So rather than pivot to say, well, maybe we'll charge a couple of bucks for a season, instead of pivoting, they said, hey, you people who are making all these shows, keep doing that. We're just going to pay you half of what you're making. So if someone said that to you, you'd be like, well, I'm going to go work somewhere else. Well,
right.
There is no where else that you could work. So except for studios, or you could work for independent films, but that's its own thing. But so what I'm saying is, as actors, we will figure out that stuff with the studios. I don't want fans to have to worry about that. I get so many sweet fans are saying, how can we support you during the strike and everything? And I'm saying, just go watch the shows, because the more the studios see how valuable those things are, they see how valuable the work is that we're doing, and how much people feel something with the work. So keep watching the shows, keep building costumes, coming to conventions, and stuff like that. We'll figure out the studio stuff. Don't worry about that. Watching the shows, because what happens if you don't watch the shows, or you don't celebrate, your fandom, or don't go to conventions, whatever, those shows eventually get canceled. And we don't. That would be worse. So
no,
we don't want that to happen. Yeah.
Well, we definitely want to see more of you, Chris, on the shows, especially Ahsoka. And you don't have to tell us. I know there's some NDAs or whatever, but will we see more of you in the future episodes of Ahsoka? We saw you in multiple droid forms.
So there's four characters that I play in Ahsoka, and you've already seen all four of them. Whether they show up again, I don't know. I'm just saying you've already seen four of them.
Well,
so there's
we need more of you,
bounty hunters,
bounty hunters, droids. And the thing too is that, like, I'm just gonna mention this droid episode on the Clone Wars cartoon, right? So when I watched that episode, I was like,
I love that episode.
Yes. So that's my main point, is that people love droids. So I met mind you, when you start watching that episode, you're like, huh, the whole episode is all about droids. But then you watch it and just the adventure that they go on that episode, you're like, this is so cool. So that's why I think, there should be more droids, just because that's what makes Star Wars, right? Having a protocol droid, having bounty droids.
I wouldn't say droids make Star Wars. I would say it's not Star Wars without
droids.
There you go.
I agree.
There's always
a
droid
true.
somewhere. And like in Andor, we had B2. There was a couple of other droids that made an appearance. It's just like, so we know that there's technology. It's not just an Earth story. And I'm just so grateful to play such a fun group of characters that are that really color Star Wars, the way that we originally remember it. And people ask, is it hard to see out of a droid's eyes? It wasn't too bad with. Oh, here we go. Okay, so I play one of the 4 characters is I play a white droid in Ahsoka. I just made this one out of a 12-inch C-3PO. But anyway, I was just sharing it so you can see the eyes. See the little black dots?
Mm-hmm.
Those are the only thing you can see out of. They're like drinking straw size.
Oh,
they're
my
just
gosh.
really small. So so anyway, people ask, is it hard to see out? Do you get claustrophobic in there? If you focus on what's inside the helmet, you get a little bit of the Man in the Iron Mask situation, where you're like, oh, I'm so closed in. But I look out what's outside, what's happening on the outside. I'm seeing stormtroopers, I'm seeing land speeders, I'm seeing space and Jedi blasters. I'm seeing smiles, I'm seeing people be happy. That's what I do, is I focus on what's outside, and that is that's kind of what has made this a lot more bearable. And then also, if I'm in the suit or in the helmet too long, I just go into like a Zen kind of like I'm just taking a nap right now, kind of a thing. I don't get all freaky.
Yeah.
But But anyway.
I mean,
I do. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, if you were droid. To, I know, I feel like we could talk to you. Forever.
I made my own teacher droid out of a 12-inch C-3PO.
Oh my god!
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
I literally would be building all day.
What's that?
I probably, if I was you, I'd be building droids all day.
Yeah. This is the 12-inch from The Force Awakens, where he had the red arm.
Yeah.
So I just bought a whole bunch of them, and I painted them all to be droids that I play.
Oh, that's cool.
So I got to do the red one. C1D1. Ooh, little piece of trivia. C1D1, the red and gray one. My name is Chris. My dresser, who's my best friend, Dana Gasser. I've known him for 20 years. He lives right around the corner from me. He dresses me on set, and he's a costume expert. And so when we found out the name of the droid, and he's always on set with me, they always know we are a duo, we always go everywhere. So when we found out it was C1D1, it's Chris 1, Dana 1. It was so cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But I still have to paint. I have to paint one up for C1D1.
Oh my god.
Oh, that's great.
I was gonna say, I mean, like I said, we could talk to you all night long, and we don't want to hold you up.
I could too.
And one of the things I definitely want to ask you before we let you go for tonight is, was there like a droid or a character that you build or you thought of in your head that you have like a storyline that you would like to see play out on screen?
This one already has a story. I immediately have an answer to this. Is I want to bring 000 to life.
Oh yes!
I want to see. Nice. I want to hear him. I want to see him. You know, he's in the comics. His personality is kind of similar to C-3PO, but he's a psychotic torture.
Yes.
He's all all black. He has red eyes. He has these all these torture implements that come out of his fingers. Yeah, and him and BT, is it BT1? I think.
Yeah, BT. Yeah.
Yeah, that I want to see them together. I want to bring them to life. Yes.
Oh my gosh, I think that could happen. I honestly think that could happen.
Yeah.
Like you said, I'm geeking out right now because I read the comics.
Yes,
and
I'm not saying this is happening. You asked me who I want to play, and I'm saying I want to build and make this happen. I want to bring him to life on the screen. And Dave is awesome. Dave loves taking fan favorite things, places, characters, whatever, and bringing them into live action. So, you know, this is, people ask me all the time. This is really the one that I want to bring. And, you know, I've seen fans build 000, and I've seen them in all different sizes. And I would love to, bring him to life, because I just think he would be so fun. He's so different from C-3PO in a twisted, there he is, in a twisted, like, you know, when we saw, I played the RA7, the black RA7 droid on Mandalorian Season 3 on the droid planet, droid run planet, Pleasure 15, where I welcomed audiences to the first droid planet in Star Wars, which to me, like, maybe nobody else gets this, you know, but it was just felt so cool and special as a droid fan. And I was there with a little black astromech, and Mando thought we were Imperial droids. Maybe we were. But also fans had suggested, is this like a call out to 000? No, this was just two random you know, former Imperial droids. But yeah, I think it would be a cool foreshadowing, you know, to see those two together. There's just so much material in the Dr. Aphra comics for these two droids. It would just be really a lot of fun.
Oh my god,
that would be amazing.
Let's just say, like I said, I think it. Now I think I know what will happen, because Dr. Aphra is such a beloved character in the comic books. Not to see her in the big screen will be such a, you know, it will be such a shame. And obviously, with Dr. Aphra comes with 000 BT1.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. I'm
She's
sorry.
like the Indiana Jones of Star Wars, and I think that would be really fun to see her. Whether she makes an appearance, or, you know, or maybe there's some appearance and then it leads to a spin-off show. I think that would be really awesome. I would just really love to be part of that. And I don't think he needs to be just gloss black. I think he could be like Kota Bukiya made a version of 000 that was almost like a black aqua color. And you know, so it's not just totally black. I think that would be cool too. I just have so many ideas. You want to see something?
Is it this one? No.
Yeah.
Kota Bukiya.
Yeah, if you click on that, he has like it's a really cool, where it's not just a standard black gloss. But anyway, that would be the next goal. Yeah,
that would be sweet.
Well, first of all, Chris, we would like you to come back, you know, in the near future. There's so many questions to ask you. Like I said, we just don't want to hold you up. It's almost like 2 hours. I can't believe it.
We can just keep talking. I know.
Yeah, this episode went by pretty quick. I just want to say, you know, Chris, is there anything that you want to plug in? Let everyone know where they could, you know, obviously with the besides the conventions you mentioned earlier, Instagram or any other things that you want to promote.
Instagram is my main place that I interact. So, yeah, I would just say go to Chris F. Bartlett on Instagram. You'll see announcements of new shows that I'll be on, or I mean, when the strike's over. Yeah, and there's also you can, and my link to IMDb is on there, I think, too, if you have questions of stuff that I've been in. But then also, I'll announce what conventions I'm going to. Oh, there's a 000. Look at that. So yeah, that's it. But I do got to run. I apologize. It was fun to hang out with you guys.
Thank you, Chris. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
I can't wait to see you guys. I hope, Nilda, I get to see you at the comic book store.
Yes, I'm gonna try to come
Rhode Island Comic-Con. That'd be great. Yeah.
All right. And thank you to everyone. Thank you to Chris. Please, definitely check out his Instagram. Talk to him through there. And thank you again, Chris. And Nilda and Sean. Another one in the books. Take care, everyone.
A good one.
Thanks, guys.
May be with you guys always and forever. Thank you, Chris. Take care.
Thank you. See ya.
Strike me down with all of your hatred, and your journey towards the dark side will be complete.